どうもお疲れ様です。こんにちは、ひろき先生です。I assume you all like Japanese anime, but have you ever chosen a work based on the idea of learning Japanese? To begin with, there are two main types of expressions in Japanese, honorific and casual expressions. They are used differently depending on the age of the person, the situation, the relationship with the person, and so on. For example, when you talk to your friends at school, you use casual expression. And when you talk to your boss at work, you use honorific out of respect to the person who you're talking to. By the way, there are several types of honorifics in Japanese that I won't go into detail this time, but I explain them into much more in a future video. So today, I've selected 3 works that have the clear distinction between honorific and casual expressions. And I give you an overview of each work and expressions used and which one you should watch and why. Alright, a summary of notes on a language learning using video works. I have always loved foreign movies, and then I study English by watching a lot of movies. Studying through movies and an anime is fun and easy to continue, so it is a recommended method of study. But there are some points you should pay attention to. First one, choose the work that you like. It is very important to choose the work that you like, because if you don't like it, you won't be able to continue watching it, and then most importantly, you won't be able to enjoy studying it. Second one, choose works that are used modern Japanese. There are many works in Japan that deal with the Warring States period and samurai. However, no matter how much you like samurai, the expression and ways of speaking they use are rarely used in modern Japan now. If you want to learn practical, usable Japanese, I recommend you choose works set in modern Japan. Avoid works with many dialects. For example, in a works not set in a big city like Tokyo, but in a beautiful countryside near the sea or mountains. The expression that can only be understood in that region may not be understood by other Japanese people. So if possible, it would be better to use a work that are set in Tokyo. The work are entertainment, so it is assumed that there will be exaggerated expressions and performance by actors. And finally, you should understand the fact that where it is an animation or a movie, unless it is a documentary, it is a work and a fiction. Even a Japanese expression is correct, it may not be common expression used in everyday life. So, it is a good idea to check if the line you like isn't commonly used before you say it. Well then, get started. I'm going to introduce you some anime that I recommend for learning Japanese. First one, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. 時をかける少女. The anime learn everyday casual expressions. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time is a Japanese science fiction anime film released in 2006. The film is about the girl who, as a result of a certain event, acquires the ability of time leap, which allows her to travel back in time, and the story follows her young love and emotional growth. Almost all the main characters of this work are teenage high school students. And since they are all friends, many of them speak each in a casual manner. Also, since there are many expressions used by young people, you will see a lot of slang that I have introduced in my previous video. If you watch the movie after checking the links of the summary section, you will be able to understand more about the slangs and what kind of situation it is used in. There are few jargons and difficult expressions used by adults. So I recommend this movie for teens to 30s who want to learn how to express themselves in daily life, at school, in private with friends. And this is the first point of language learning with anime and movies. Try shadowing. It's a recommended way to practice any unique Japanese pronunciation by imitating and pronouncing the words exactly the speed the characters are speaking. Number 2, The Laughing Salesman. 笑うセールスマン. The anime to learn honorific expressions used by adults. The Laughing Salesman is an omnibus style anime series that ran for 4 years, from 1989 to 1992. It is a slightly dark story about a mysterious salesman in black who grins evilly and gives people with problems what they want, but makes them pay if they break his promise or do not listen to his advice. By the way, there are many black jokes in the work, and the author is the same as the author of Doraemon. It's kind of fun, huh? The characters in this work range from people in their 30s over 60s, and almost all of them, including the main characters, a salesman, use honorific expressions. You can see the culture of using honorifics when meeting people for the first time, and you can also learn what kind of language to use with people you meet for the first time. I recommend this work to anyone who wants to learn Japanese business conversation expressions and polite expressions of honorifics. The second point of learning language with anime and movies: understand the story of the work by watching it with subtitle in each country and a Japanese audio. First of all, it is important to understand the story. By watching the works in your own language or with English subtitles, you will deepen your understanding of the work in Japanese. Number 3. The Great Passage. 船を編む. The anime learned both honorific and casual expressions. The anime, The Great Passage, was broadcast in 2016. It was a big hit in Japan, even though it has a bit of a niche setting. It follows a group of people who work for a publishing company and make dictionaries. It has also been made into a live-action movie based on the novel, the same title. The reason why this work is recommended is the main characters who deal with language. In the process of creating a dictionary that covers not only common expressions used by everyone, but also rare expressions that are not often used, they encounter a variety of words and a meaning attached to those words. In the story, the main character uses an honorific with his bosses and co-workers at work, but they all speak to him as if he is their friend. So, you will hear both an honorific and a casual expressions. Also, since the main theme of the anime is company and work, there are scenes there are people who normally use casual expressions use honorifics. And you can see how Japanese people are honorific and casual in different situations. I can recommend this work to people of all ages who want to learn both honorific and casual expressions in Japanese. The third point of learning language with anime and movies. After switching to Japanese subtitle, take note to unfamiliar words and expressions, how look them up to increase your vocabulary and expressions. After enjoying the work in your language with English subtitles, it is also an effective way to study by switching to Japanese subtitles and then taking notes on words and expressions you don't know. There are so many words out there. So it's pretty important to constantly increase your vocabulary. Alright, are there any works that you might like? Today, I have introduced some works that will help you learn both honorifics and casual expressions in Japanese. There are many recommendations as a language tutor, but as I said at the beginning, it's best to choose anime and movies that you like. But I hope these 3 choices will help you learn Japanese. So please look forward to seeing more of your Japanese learning help from me in the future. So, see you guys in the next video. 動画を見てくれてありがとう。この動画がいいねと思ったら高評価とチャンネル登録お願いします。あと Instagram のフォローもよろしくお願いします。それじゃあまた。